Today on The Young and the Restless, Nikki and Victor get the deets on Diane, Daniel reunites with his mother, and Nick issues a warning to Cameron. At the GCAC, Jack enthouses to Diane about a jazz album he found that Neil would love. They gush about doing their favorite things together. Diane says the night isn't over yet, and Jack calls her an absolute wonder. Diane just got her life back and plans to soak up every moment of it. Diane gets Jack a martini and forgets her own at the bar. Jack teases her that Kyle seems to forget his phone, and maybe it's hereditary. Diane turns sober, recalling that Kyle losing his phone set off the chain of events at the gala. Jack apologizes and reminds her good fortune is on their side now. Diane just worries what this has done to Kyle and Summer, who seem disconnected. Jack is convinced that things will get back to normal soon. Tonight he wants to celebrate her. So where do we go now? Diane is going to the bar to get her drink. At the Abbott house, Summer gets a text from Phyllis, who wants her to bring her brother to her for family peace. Kyle appears and tells Summer he wants the champagne to be perfectly chilled when his parents get there. Summer sends a text back as Kyle chats about Harrison being more bubbly, as though he realizes a burden's been lifted off of the house. Summer says she needs to go talk to Daniel. Kyle protests, but Summer insists they need to clear the air. She knows she's hurt Kyle by shutting down and shutting him out. She's sorry and believes that he's on her side, even if she doesn't deserve it. Kyle frowns. Why would you say that? He tells her he'll wait up for her unless she wants him to come with her. Summer says no and leaves. At Society, Daniel wishes Lucy a safe flight on the phone and disconnects. He then gets a text and muses. What is this? At Crimson Lights, Sharon flashes to Nikki getting angry with her for not coming clean with Nicholas about Cameron back in the day. The door opens and Sharon startles. It's Nick. He asks if she's okay and warns her to start locking the doors. He wants to give her a ride home. You can never be too safe. Sharon admits she's afraid. Nick assures her it's not silly with a monster like him on the loose. Nick closes up and helps Sharon put the chairs on the table. Sharon asks about Sally and Nick says she's at risk for preeclampsia. Sharon worries. That's serious. Nick knows she'll need a lot of monitoring. Sharon thinks he should go to her, but Nick is concerned about getting Sharon home safe with Kirsten on the loose. Sharon still can't believe he approached Faith. She regrets not warning their daughter sooner. Nick intones that they all have to have their eyes wide open right now. Sharon worries Cameron's head games are just getting started. In his suite, Cameron combs his hair in the mirror and muses, not bad at all. At the GCAC bar, Diane retrieves her drink and Cameron, sitting there, tells her she shouldn't leave her drink unattended like that. A creep could come along and drop something in it. You can't trust anyone. Diane informs him that between her and her husband they know everyone there. He snaps. Do you even know me? Uneasy, Diane excuses herself to go back to the table, but then turns around and asks the bartender to make her a new martini. Cameron says, smart move, and leaves. Diane looks shaken. Here's what a breakthrough in fusion energy means for the future of clean power. Later, Diane is telling Jack about the incident at the bar when Nikki and Victor walk in. Jack mutters, incoming. Nikki and Victor want to know how Diane got off the murder charges. Diane says she's innocent. Jack notices Summer come through the revolving door and calls out. Victor urges her, join us, sweetheart. Summer glances at the stairs before walking over. In Society, Daniel flashes to Summer informing him she's handling this on her own. He read the text he got again and then pays and leaves. At Crimson Lights, Nick fumes at the idea of that creep Cameron being anywhere near Faith, or her. Sharon frets about bringing that man into their lives and recalls how Nick saved her from his plane that night. Nick assures her they'll beat him this time too. They remember how they felt at the time. Nick tells Sharon they'll let the police handle this and Cameron will go back to prison. Kirsten may have his millions, but he's got a record now and he's not untouchable. What scares Sharon is that she doesn't think he cares. In the GEAC, Summer tells Jack, Diane, and her grandparents that she's there to see Daniel. She tells Diane, I heard the news. Victor says it must have been a shock for her that Diane was allowed to go free. Nikki feels it's only a matter of time before the authorities realize they've made a mistake. Summer gives a look and blurts, my mom is alive. She says she was in a vulnerable place and Stark manipulated her into faking her death and framing Diane. Nikki says, well, of course he did. He's a very evil man. Diane huffs. Victor asks, where's Phyllis now? Summer says she's on the run because she killed Stark. It was self-defense, she exclaims. Summer details how Stark attacked her mother and Nikki tells her she's so sorry she has to go through this. Victor thinks she needs to face the music. Summer says it's complicated and insists she has to go meet Daniel. She heads upstairs. Victor remarks on the stunning development of a woman letting her children mourn. Looking pointedly at Diane, he asks, who the hell would do that? Nikki muses that it's Diane's area of expertise. She blames her for pushing Phyllis to the edge. Jack tells Nikki and Victor to have a good evening and takes Diane to the door. Upstairs, Phyllis lets Summer in and tells her she's been waiting for hours. Summer complains about her wanting to see Daniel, who would go straight to the police, and she would go to jail. Phyllis muses about that as Daniel knocks on the door. Phyllis had to take matters into her own hands. Summer answers the door. Daniel asks if she sent him the weird text. Phyllis shows herself. Hi, Daniel. At Crimson Lights, Nick wants to help Sharon clean up and then take her home. She sends him into the back for sugar while she gets the containers from the patio. On the patio, Sharon picks up the sugar container but smashes it on the floor in shock when she turns to find Cameron right behind her. In Neil's jazz lounge, Jack tells Diane, this is it. The room your future changed in an instant. Diane recalls how happy she was that night before everything changed. She fights tears as Jack reminds her, you've done the work. She wants to dance before they leave. Jack leads her onto the floor and they kiss. In Phyllis' suite, she and Daniel embrace. She asks if he's okay. Daniel, emotional, says, knowing you were alive was one thing, but seeing you? Phyllis assures her kids everything will be okay. She tells Daniel how sorry she is for everything and will spend the rest of her life making it up to them. Daniel thinks she chose revenge over her family. Phyllis was confused and has admitted she was wrong. At the memorial service, she saw how important she is to them. She loved his portrait, which made her realize how much he loves her. Summer warns there's an APB out for her, and the murder charges against Diane have been dropped. On Crimson Light's patio, Cameron tells Sharon, I didn't mean to startle you. I've imagined this moment so many times. Sharon says if he wants to have a conversation, she will meet him at the police station tomorrow. He smiles, that fire. God, you still burn bright, don't you? He thinks they had some good times, but Sharon tells him no, we did not. Now get out. Cameron says he's never forgotten one single thing about her. He prayed to forget, but it was impossible. Sharon asks, why are you here? At the GCAC, Nikki tells Victor that as angry as she is with Phyllis for what she's put Summer and Daniel through, Diane is right up there with her insufferable gloating. Victor says she's Jack Abbott's problem. Just ignore her. Nikki can't do that. She has Jack so besotted he doesn't know which way it's up. Once they're married, she'll begin her reign of terror. In the jazz lounge, Diane and Jack slow dance, and Diane admires her ring. He asks if she's okay. Diane reassures him with a kiss. In her suite, Phyllis rants about Diane getting away with it again. She's looking at a fairy tale life again, while she's facing a mess. Daniel protests, a mess you created. Summer says they need to focus on how to help their mother without the police finding out where she is. Daniel declares the sneaking around needs to end. Summer says, not with Mom behind bars. Daniel asks, what about Kyle? Summer balks, can you just leave him out of it? As they fight, Phyllis intervenes and asks them to stop. She can't put them through this. She'll disappear and take care of this on her own. They're accessories to a crime now. Summer vows that they will protect her at all costs. Daniel agrees, whatever it takes. Phyllis asks, are you sure? The kids pledge their love. Phyllis wants a hug. Daniel embraces her and Phyllis takes Summer's hand. On the patio, Cameron is irked that Sharon's only question is why he's there, and that she's not curious as to how he's been or where he's been. He becomes agitated and says he's sure as hell been curious about her. I know we had our problems, but no one ever touched me the way you did. What we shared? Well, that connection was real. I know you felt it. He caresses her cheek as Nick appears and shoves him away. Hey, you stay away from her and everyone in my family. In the jazz lounge, Jack has never seen Diane more beautiful, radiant, or alive. Diane says it's because she's going to marry the man of her dreams. He wonders if she's made any decision about the wedding. Diane's unconcerned. She just wants to be his wife. The sooner the better. They kiss. In Phyllis' suite, she says Christine won't be happy until she's under arrest and walking into the police station. Daniel points out that she was pretty horrible to her back in the day. Summer interjects that she told Victor and Nikki about Phyllis being alive and having killed Jeremy. Daniel balks. You told them and not Kyle. Summer would rather have had them hear it from her than Jack and Diane. Phyllis worries that Victor's security will find her. I should just turn myself in. Daniel muses, that would be the right thing. Summer disagrees and Phyllis reveals she has a plan. She hacked into Stark's personal records and accounts. She just has to prove what a horrible person he was, and she needs to find the EMT Carson. Daniel says the first order of business is finding her a better place to hide. Summer has to go or Kyle will worry about her. She'll check in with them in the morning. She opens the door to leave and Kyle sees the trio. What the hell? On Crimson Light's patio, Cameron tells Nick he just stopped in to say hi. He adds, hey, I saw your daughter, Faith. Nick crits, you watch your mouth. Cameron oozes, polite little girl and such a beauty like her mama. Sharon grabs Nick's shoulder as he fumes. You don't talk about her. You don't even say her name. Cameron says, I come in peace, man. You threatening violence? Nick intones, that's not a threat, that's a promise. Cameron muses about Nick holding a grudge. Nick asks what he wants. Kirsten says, that's for another time, Nicholas, and walks out. Sharon cries and Nick holds her.